we went to go take a picture, and this is before we start recording, and they line up on the skyline, and they were like, Erica, come over here and take a picture. And so I went over there, and I didn't really know where to get in between any of them. They were all kind of lined up, and I was like, I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just squeeze in here. And then out of nowhere, Joe says, you better watch out, you'll get f***ed. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I was so caught off guard. I just said, Joe, stop. Like, don't do that. Come on. And he was just like, and everyone around just like didn't say anything. No one said shit. It was just like, this happens all the time, and this is normal, and no one's going to say anything.
Called out their name just because you have a problem with them. But this is past having a problem. This is you doing something with the intent to tarnish and ruin a man and a platform that has not moved in that way, that's not looking to move in that way, and in all actuality has done everything to make women feel comfortable up there. So when I see shit like this happen, I have to call it for what it is. And I won't even say two bitches, because I feel like the other young lady really didn't say much of anything. So I'm literally speaking to the one person who made that bullshit story up. To me, honestly, I think everyone looks at these two chicks as bullshit. And I don't even want to extend any more grace to them, giving them a platform of us even making them more relevant to what they are. But I'm 100% going to be aware that a lot of the things that we do up there instantly are going to affect Joe, because he is the name and he's the brand and he's the person that typically most of the people are watching to see. So I got to be conscious that even though I think the things that I'm doing are really to benefit me or my outlook, it's going to essentially fall back on him in certain ways that he's not even prepared for. I didn't even ask for. Like, he didn't ask for those young ladies to be up there. That was me. And he had no level of even trying to make it a thing of them being up there. So even, I don't wish them any success. I hope their podcast fails. I hope they fail. I hope they don't eat for the next week. I hope that whatever that they believe that they're going to do great in life, it returns to them in a nightmare that they're not going to achieve it.
Sheesh.
You tried to fuck up my man shit. You try to put some dirt on his name. You made me out to look like some cornball nigga who chases bitches around. Like, you did all this corny shit.
Oh.
I don't respect none of that. And I really hope failure into their life.
Y'all lucky. I'm gonna just say this right now.
Let me find my sleeper.
Let me just get my shit
Don't
off.
worry about it.
You guys are lucky.
Extremely
that this
lucky.
man has a great platform and he chose the high road.
And he won't let us go.
Exactly. It's unfair to the people that really out there that go through shit. It's unfair. It's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
A lot of people who are not even part of our community would like me to comment on the reasons why I decided to speak my truth to my tribe on Patreon. Well, number one is because I'm a podcaster. I've chosen to share my life for the last 6 years, shared the ugly parts, the good parts, the uncomfortable parts, the parts of which I'm embarrassed about. And to be honest, this was embarrassing for me. I chose to move forward in something that I knew in my better judgment I shouldn't have. However, that does not negate the fact that this man was disrespectful to me, that he had the audacity to speak to me this way. Whether you believe me or not is not really my problem, because the reason for my sharing was not for you. It was for women. It was for women who have for so long silenced themselves in situations like this and questioned their better judgment. This talk of clout and all of those things, you're not my demographic. I don't need clout from this man. I'm not a hip-hop artist or rapper. I'm a woman, female podcaster whose space is created for the safety and healing of women. And if men would like to come along the journey, that's great as well. I don't need to chase anyone's clout or whatever the fuck y'all have been saying. And I have no reason to lie. I know this is your fave, and that's fine. I don't have any hate towards this person. You know, he chose to be disrespectful in that moment. Do I think he's disrespectful overall? Probably. I don't know. I don't know him like that. But y'all think you do. And you think you know me.
So one of the main characters here at I Am Savvy Mike TV is none other than Joe Busy Budden. Now, Joe Budden found himself in some hot water after he had on some females from a podcast called Good Moms, Bad Choices. I don't know the name of their podcast. I don't watch it. But one of the co-hosts decided to go on her podcast after appearing on the Joe Budden podcast and basically say that Joe had sexually harassed her. She said that they were getting ready to take the picture, and I guess she looked at Joe and Joe looked at her, and he said something along the lines of, "You better stop before you get fucked." And yeah, that's her words, not mine. Look, this is all allegations at this point, and a lot of people are denying the fact that this happened. A lot of people that were actually there. Hell, on the podcast of this girl exposing this little tidbit about her interaction with Joe Budden, her own co-host basically said she didn't hear that happen. Maybe she's stirring up drama to get more numbers, get more Patreon viewers, as a lot of people have done the research, and you can't even find this episode of her talking about Joe unless you're subscribed to their Patreon. So she says it's her speaking her truth. She comes off on a live and responds to everything that's being said about her. Emanny, one of Joe's friends who has been appearing on the Joe Budden podcast, he used to be an R&B singer, or still is, I don't know. I don't want to throw no disrespect on his name. I really don't know what he's choosing to do with his career, but apparently he wrote songs for Joe and did the whole R&B music industry thing, and now he's sitting on the couch with Joe Budden when Ish and Queen's Flip aren't there. That's from what I can tell. But either way, apparently he invited these chicks up there because he wanted to give them a spotlight, and now he feels slighted. Now he feels upset. He's like, I gave y'all a platform and y'all came up there and left and then decided to shit on my mans and not be grateful and thankful for the opportunity that we gave you. So he had a lot of violating words to say towards those two young ladies. But at the same time, you had Queen's Flip on one of the Patreon episodes said they were out of line, and Ice went on to defend Joe as well and saying, look, I wish we could say what we want to say, but he's not letting us because, you know, that's our boss. You're on a podcast where you talk, but hey, because the boss says we can't talk about it, we can't talk about it. Shout out Joe, man. Look, we might have our differences, but shout out him. Everybody's full frontal in denying that this had even happened, that Joe had even sexually harassed this young lady. She's saying she was speaking her truth, not because she wanted to start some type of, you know, hoopla or get clout or anything like that. No, she wanted to speak her truth so other women wouldn't be afraid to speak theirs, and we shall see if this starts a wave of other women speaking their truth. I mean, you had Olivia Dope situation, but that literally played out on camera in front of everybody to see when Joe had said what he said to her on that podcast. So this is at this point hearsay, and honestly, I don't believe it happened. I have every reason not to believe that it happened because you have a lot of witnesses saying that it didn't happen, and even her own co-host on the episode of her exposing this couldn't even stand behind her with what she was saying and say, yeah, I heard him say that. No, she went, I didn't hear that shit. And if you look at the picture of them together, she was like right there. So unless Joe just, you know, telepathically looked at her and said that she heard it, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I doubt it happened. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Joe Budden said this to this lady? Do you think he sexually harassed her? Or do you think she's lying? Let me know in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.